Now moving on to the amendment section. The amendment section, we wanted to kind of expand and hopefully this makes it a little clearer about which section can be completed when. There's a lot more information in the instructions, so definitely take a look at that as well. But one of the things you'll notice is that we're no longer asking for the A number, the project ID, the sponsor's name, or anything like that, because we already have that information. What we really need is that subaward number. So currently all new subawards are starting with 1, 2, and then digits after that. Actually, we're about to hit 13,000 soon, so they'll start to be 1, 3. So it's either a 4 or 5 digit number followed by the SC number. That's our main identifier for figuring these things out. So for amendments, that's what we need. So go ahead and put that in there. And then we went ahead and broke it out by most of the major changes. One thing that we did remove, and you can just put this under other, is a change in UCSFPI. That happens occasionally. We do need to tell the sites if there's a change in UCSFPI, but you can just put that under other, and the same information is needed basically for the change in subrecipient PI. It's what's the new PI's name and what is the date of effective change. But we wanted to hopefully make it a little easier. So if you're just adding the next year of time and money, you can just click that box for next year and additional funding, put in the next budget period and the increased amount, add the budget justification or scope of work as applicable, and add that in. We've also kind of separated out no cost extension and early terminations. One of the reasons we did that is the associates on my team actually handled those transactions. And so we can identify those a lot quicker if it's just, there's just a no cost extension, we're just extending the end date, boom, same thing for early termination, there's that new end date. We can get those assigned out and actually sent out relatively quickly. Carry forward, we kind of did expand, partially because of what's on the FDP. Sites are wanting to know the carry forward period, from what period to what period. And there's more information in the instructions. So I'm not going to go over this too much, but the carry forward amount is still the same. We wanted that. But then in the drop down, we do go over, in the drop down, we do say, is it being used for the same purpose? So sometimes, it's going from year 2 to year 3. They didn't do all the work that they were going to do in year 2. They're going to finish it in year 3. It's for the same purpose. We're not revising the budget. They're not going to use the funds for a new purpose. So that's fine. You can go ahead and notate that. Use it for the existing purpose. If they are going to use it for a new purpose, let's say they used it, they did all the work, but they still have some extra funds, and they're either going to do additional work, or they're going to process more samples, or do whatever it is, then they're going to use it for a new purpose. And we want to capture that change in the contract. So that most likely will mean that there's going to be a revised budget and a revised scope of work. So go ahead and click, you probably will be clicking revised budget, revised scope of work there. And so we do want to capture that. So just in case there is a conflict down the line, and we have seen this, unfortunately, where the subsite thought they should be paid more for work that they did, but it was never captured in the actual subaward. Those changes were never captured, and it was already 5 years past the grant by the time the grant had ended. And so we weren't able to go back to our sponsor and get those additional funds to pay them. And it was never captured in the actual subaward that those changes happened. So we're trying to hopefully capture that information. Also, one thing to note in the amendment section, I kind of did mention this, but there's no section for project ID. I'm going to just reiterate, the subcontracts team cannot move an SC number from one project ID to another. We only need it at the time the subaward is initially set up.